Hi guys, it's Mrs. Williams, and today we're going to make two different kinds of papers. One is bubble wrap paper, and the other is, we call it plastic wrap paper, and I'll show that to you a little closer in just a second. I tried doing this outside and it did not work, so this is take two. Alright, so the first step is I have two different kinds of paper. One is a watercolor paper, it's kind of thick. I realize most of you won't have that, so using regular computer paper works fine. This is that regular computer paper like you would have in your printer. And you need some watercolors. It's handy if you have masking tape or painter's tape, but you don't have to have it. You can definitely do this without it. You need some bubble wrap. This one comes from an Amazon package. You're actually seeing it through the light. And this is just a piece of plastic. I think it's part of a trash bag, actually. So the first thing we're going to do is just moisten your watercolors. You want to rinse the brush in between each one. I've already done that, so I'm going to go ahead and add some paint to my paper. Do something a little bit bright. I'm going to go for an orange here. Go ahead and do kind of a water wash over your whole paper. I was feeling a little creative, so I used my painter's tape to just make some different lines and shapes on my paper. And then when I peel those off later, let me show you what's going to happen. You get these really interesting sort of geometric shapes. This is where the tape was, and I really like how that looks. So you can use these papers to make collage. You can use them to make cards. You can do like Easter decorations with them. I think Fiona and I will do some cutting and make some cards for our family that we can't see this year for Easter. Okay, so I've got some orange on there. Now I'm going to take my bubble wrap, the bubbly side, and I'm just going to choose a color. I think I'll try, let's see, I'm going to go for a totally contrasting color and use a purple. And I'm just going to put the purple all over the bubble wrap. And if you sort of let it sit for a moment, it sinks down, the water kind of sinks down and the paint sticks to the top of the bubbly parts. And then just gently flip it over, and you're going to go ahead and make a print right on your paper. So I'm just pressing it down so all the paint goes on. And then when I peel it up, all those dots went right onto my paper, and I have a really interesting pattern. And I can do that all over my whole paper or however I feel like doing it. I can use different colors. You can get really kind of crazy with it. Okay, now to make our plastic wrap paper, which gives a really cool effect. It gives this sort of geometric shapes in here. I'm going to do a water wash on my paper here. It's still a little purple from before. That's okay. Maybe we'll do purple. And then I'm just going to throw some paint on here. I'm going to cover most of the paper. Oh, and I taped this paper down. It has a little roll of tape on the back because it's the kind of paper that will kind of curl up if I didn't. I'm just going to mix in some blue, give it a little color interest. There we go. And then I'm going to take my plastic wrap and I'm just going to lay it down right over the whole paper, over the paint, and just kind of squish it. And I can see how the shapes are starting to really appear. I don't know if you'll see that on the camera, but I'm going to leave the plastic wrap on here and let it dry for maybe an hour, maybe 2 hours, even a little bit longer. Just let it sit, and then those shapes will really get embedded into your paper, and you'll have some really cool papers. All right. Email me your pictures of anything that you create with the interesting papers that you make today. All right. Bye.